This here is King George the Third.
Hi everyone! Welcome back to another episode of Spilling the Tea. I am your host, Joe.
I'm a co-host, Logan.
I am the interviewer, Danny. And this is Gojo.
Okay. So, ironic enough, our topic today is that fateful night in December of 1773, the Boston Tea Party.
Now tell me, what is the tea, sis?
Soon to find out. Soon to find out. To truly understand the significance of the Boston Tea Party, we gotta set the mood. We gotta set the stage. In the year of 1773, precisely so, the American colonies started a rebellion against British authorities because they had it up to here.
Up to here? Up to here? Hold on. Up to here? Or down here?
TIE fighter level. Out in space.
Damn. I can't
they're
throw
trying
it that
to
high.
They're trying to take over the Death Star right now.
Absolutely.
I can't. Oh.
And why is this? Because the British Parliament, what did they do?
They imported pandas.
No.
Oh.
They put taxes on imported goods.
Like TIE fighters?
As well. Not necessarily. Not during this era.
Like Legos?
Paper? Still not. Yeah. There you go.
Oh, paper.
Paper is one of them.
Was it tea? Going by the tea that we're spilling?
How did you know?
It's in the name.
One of the taxes is on tea and is known as the infamous Tea Act of 1773.
But I doubt that's what that's the tea that we're spilling, isn't it? That's not the whole story, is it?
There's so much tea that's going to be spilled.
Oh, it's hot. It's hot and piping. It's piping hot.
It's about to come out the kettle. But I'm going to turn it over to Logan to tell us more about the other taxes.
So,
there
is more. They put out a lot of acts during that time, so Britain could have power over the colonies. And some of those acts was like the Quartering Act, which required not quarters, but it required the local governments to foot the bill for British presence in the colonies through taxation.
What do you mean by foot the bill?
They pay for it.
Yeah. Paid for it. Ah, okay.
Or they have something like the New York Restraining Act, which suspended them.
Restraining? What does that mean?
Holding back.
Ah, okay.
Put it on hold.
Mm-hmm.
So with that act, they suspended the New York Assembly until they complied with the Quartering Act.
Oh.
And they also have the Revenue Act, which implemented taxes on certain imports such as China, lead, glass, paper, paint, and
pandas?
Tea.
Oh.
Oh, pandas.
Oh, pandas. Not this time.
Not yet, anyway.
Right, back to you, Joe.
What about lightsabers?
No.
Very, just like, very on the topic though, considering we're talking about the rebellion. But the Tea Act wasn't just about tea. It wasn't just about spilling the tea. It symbolized the British's taxation without colonial representation. They were targeting the colonial rebellion. Cue the lightsaber.
Hold on. I need the right color.
Womp. Womp.
Luke! I am your father!
The East India India Company.
Execute Order 66.
They were trying to.
Oh, were they now?
They were.
Is that the T?
We're getting to it.
Oh.
But during this time, the East India Company was facing some financial troubles. They got no money. They bankrupt.
I heard my mama talk about that.
You know
word.
why?
Why?
It's a 7-year war.
Oh. Who were they fighting?
So there was so much leading up to this. It's not just about tea?
No.
Well, I mean, that is the T.
Gasp. Gasp.
Gasp.
Due to those financial troubles, they allowed that company specifically to make a monopoly, which a monopoly is when one company controls all of it. So think of like the game Monopoly. When you are winning, what do you have?
Money.
And you own most of the
properties.
exactly.
Amazon warehouses.
I mean, that is an example of one, but we won't get into that. I digress and we proceed. So, local merchants were struggling. They were facing a lot of hardships because of this, because they weren't able to sell their goods. And so, as a result, you can imagine how angry they were and how frustrated the colonies were because they weren't allowed to make money, right? So, the Tea Act led to a bunch of protests, and many colonists refused to purchase any British tea whatsoever. Danny. But the Sons of Liberty were not having it. They were like,
who are they?
The Sons of Liberty is a rebellious group of colonists led by Samuel Adams. And they said, let's push the limit. Let's do this daring act of defiance and just...
Let's spill the tea.
Let's spill the tea. Let's go for the British authority, and we're going for it. So they, along with multiple other people, over 100 people, boarded 3 British ships at the Boston Harbor. And those ships are the Dartmouth, the Eleanor, and the Beaver. And then, what did they do?
Build a dam with the Beaver.
Not quite.
Oh.
They stole from the Beaver and they dumped 342 chests of tea into the Boston Harbor. They quite literally just wasted all
Spilled
the tea.
Ah, okay.
They quite literally just spilled the tea. But how does this affect the rest of American history? Well, quite literally was one of the biggest, it's considered one of the biggest American protests of all time. And it is thought to be one of the leading protests that led to the American Revolution. So, yes.
Isn't that just terrorism?
No.
No. Okay, so I wouldn't consider it so. Just because they were kind of being discriminated against.
Ah.
So.
And at the end of the day, it's not considered terrorism because they won.
Danny, I don't know how to respond to that.
I don't know either.
Well, anyways, moving forward, the Boston Tea Party made the British Parliament just absolutely furious. Led to more acts, also known as the Intolerable Acts, and it just caused colonial resentment and more rebellion.
Like Star Wars?
Absolutely so. But this was one of the pivotal moments where American colonists decided to fight against the British government for their freedom. So this was one of the moments that they were like, we're leaving. This is how America happened. I mean, not actually, but this was a a very huge step toward that process. But now that you know,
The more you know.
do we have any questions?
It's in a book. It's Reading Rainbow. Reading Rainbow. Butterfly in the sky.
I can fly twice as high.
Guys.
It's in a book. Reading Rainbow. Alright. I do actually have a few questions for you. What were the main taxes that forced the colonists to spill all the tea?
It would go back to the act, which I brought up earlier, the Revenue Act, which they
Yes.
taxed China, lead, glass, paper, paint, and tea.
Tea. They
That
spilled
was
the tea.
that was the boiling point of the tea kettle.
Yep.
I see.
And it was. Another thing that I didn't mention actually was that when the Sons of Liberty were going to execute this devious plan of spilling all the tea in the Boston Harbor, they also dressed up in disguises as Native Americans. I'm not sure how convincing
Imposter.
those disguises would have been among us. But yeah, they were able to
kept the
get
heat
on
off
those
of 'em.
free ships. Yeah, it absolutely did. Any more questions?
How much money was all that tea worth? I'm not sure if you already said this, but how much money was that?
To equivalent, like today's money, it would be
Yeah.
1.7 million
Estimated.
estimated amount.
It's a retirement fund right there.
More than.
Well, that's what
Not with my spending habits.
That's what the FICA recommends to have as a retirement fund by the time you're 60 or 70. By the time you're retired, you're supposed to have that much money to live a comfortable life. But everyone usually has about 5 to 10% of that.
Not with my spending habits.
The more you know. Now continue.
We be buying them Fortnite emotes.
Hey, I'm just saying, the Legos ain't gonna buy themselves.
Absolutely.
Don't have terrible spending habits, kids.
Yes.
Don't follow Russ's footsteps. Just listen to King George. He's long gone now. He was about the size of this cat.
We don't really know that.
Yeah,
that's not factual information. Don't take
everything I say with a grain of salt.
Absolutely.
Very large grain of sea salt.
If no one really has anything else to add or
I think we're good.
Question, we're just gonna wrap it up. Now you know from Spilling the Tea podcast what the Boston Tea Party is and how they spilled the tea and why.
Completed we have.
Yes,
Over
Yoda.
this is.
Podcast, yes.
Time to leave we must.